Executive Order 14398, and it's titled Addressing DEI Discrimination by Federal Contractors. So the order was signed the 26th of March. It was officially published on the 31st. As of today, you have about 18 days before the agencies are supposed to have this clause in their contracts and solicitations. No agency has issued a class deviation, and there isn't any FAR Council guidance that have been published yet. So the specific clause language has not officially appeared anywhere, but it's coming and it's going to happen pretty quick. The clause has 6 components: to conduct restrictions on activities, the executive order defined as DEI discrimination, government right to access your books, records, and accounts to verify compliance, a requirement to report subcontractor conduct to the government, a notification requirement if a subcontractor files litigation challenging the clause, flowdown to subcontractors and lower tier subcontractors, and it's framed as material to payment. Now, material to payment under the False Claims Act means that if you're not in compliance, then it carries legal weight that goes beyond normal contract administration. So I'm not saying that you're automatically facing FCA exposure. I'm just saying that you have to treat this as something that deserves real attention. So prepare before seeing the clause. If you're in government contracting and you constantly feel like you're the last to find out what's going on, I get it. There's a lot of noise out there, not a lot of clarity. That's literally why I built GovCon Ready in 30 on School. Every week, I put out a full acquisition intelligence brief: what changed, what didn't, and what you can actually do about it. We cover regulations, GAO decisions, market signals, opportunities, all of it, broken down so it actually makes sense. We go live every Tuesday, and you can ask me anything directly. It's free to join. The link's in the bio. All right. The subcontract reporting requirement is a piece I want you to think hardest about if you have subcontracts. The clause as directed requires you to report subcontractor conduct to the government. So that means you need to know what your subs are doing. You need to have internal process to collect that information, and you need a path to report if it's required. So when you get new clauses like this, there are at least 3 things you need to know. What does the clause say when you see it in your solicitation? Who in your company is the point of contact when the government asks questions? Which of your subcontractors will need to follow the same rules under the flow down? And you need to start thinking about this ahead of time. So what you can do now to make sure you're good: build a clause intake checklist. When a new clause appears, know who reviews it, who operationalizes it, and who handles the flow down to subcontractors. Create a single contact for government compliance inquiries, and pre-brief your key subcontractors that new requirements are going to be arriving. So I don't want you to rewrite your entire compliance infrastructure based on headlines. Wait for the actual clause text in your specific instructions, then map your existing controls to what is actually required. All right, the next one, let's talk about the presidential budget. So, fiscal year 2027 presidential budget request submitted on the 3rd of April. And this is a pretty high signal. So, the defense, $1.5 trillion proposed for defense agencies. That's about a 44% increase. It would be the largest defense budget in United States history. Procurement and research and development are the priority growth categories. For civilian agency IT, $75.7 billion is proposed. That's also another record. And the VA alone is proposed at $12.2 billion. That's about a 62% increase. Non defense discretionary, though, is a proposed 10% cut across all civilian agencies. So, programs, operations, staffing, everything's about a 10% cut. Now, I want you to know that this is only a proposal. The president submits a budget and Congress appropriates it. Last year, the government ran on continuing resolution from October through about mid November before getting full year funding. So use this as a directional signal only. It's not confirmation. A detailed agency breakdown are scheduled on the 21st of April. This is where you'll see like a program by program priority. All right. But the direction is pretty clear though. Defense and IT are the growth sectors. If you have capabilities in those lanes and you're not actively pursuing vehicles or building relationships in those markets, the time to start is now. The combination of record defense budget, a record IT budget, and that M-26-10 pushing agencies towards established vehicles and creates a clear message that contractors on the GWACs and schedules with compliant pricing and certification, they're going to win more contracts than those that are not. All right, so now let's talk about a new opportunity. So one of the new opportunities on SAM is this Army Maps, is a marketplace for acquisition and professional services. The RFP was released around the 2nd of April, and it's a 10-year IDIQ with the $50 billion ceiling. It has about 350 award positions, and 125 of those are dedicated to small businesses. Proposals are due on the 1st of May. All right, so this consolidates two existing Army vehicles, the RS3 and the ITAS-3S, into a single program covering IT services and professional services. CMMC 2.0 compliance is required. This is the first mega IDIQ to include positions for commercial sector vendors, not just traditional vendor contractors or defense contractors. So that 125 small business slots on a $50 billion vehicle, that's a significant opportunity. But proposals are due the first, like I said, the 1st of May. This is about 24 days away. So if you have the capability and the compliance posture to compete directly, go to SAM and pull that solicitation. If you can't compete directly, then find a prime that is competing and have a teaming conversation with them this week. Teaming is how most small businesses get access to vehicles they couldn't win otherwise by themselves. All right. You don't have to win as a prime to benefit from it. If the prime wins a position and you are on their team, you'll get work on that vehicle through the prime. That's another way how small businesses build their past performance as well. All right, now let's talk about a GAO case. It's Z Soft Tech Solutions, and it's SEWPVI vehicle protest, and it was basically dismissed. GAO dismissed its protest on two grounds: one, for untimeliness, and two, insignificant factual basis. All right, the second ground, the insignificant factual basis, is the one that matters for how you think about protest. GAO applies what it called an enhanced pleading standard. When you file a protest, you don't get to say, I think something went wrong. You have to come with specific, credible facts that support your allegation. Concerns and suspicions aren't enough. This case is a major reminder that protest strategy requires preparation before you file. You should only file a protest if you have evidence of a legal error. You also need to make sure it's filed on time. Both of these things together are the bare minimum, right? You file on time, know what you're talking about, um, and have all your ducks in a row, right? Don't just file just because you suspect something. Now let's talk about the market for a while. There are three things that are important: the defense surge, the push with civilian IT, and compliant infrastructure. On defense, there's a $1.5 trillion proposed budget. If Congress adjusts the numbers, the direction is still clear. If you have defense relevant capabilities, whether it's IT, personal services, logistics, or engineering, now is when you need to start positioning. On the civilian IT side, the same budget that cuts civilian agency operations proposes a record $75.7 billion in technology spending. That's a deliberate trade. So they're cutting headcount and investing in technology. M-21-10, it makes CIO approval the choke point. So vehicle positioning and price consistency matter more than ever. On compliance with the executive order, CMMC, and the 8A audit, also the SBA citizenship requirement, the pattern's pretty consistent. The government is tightening eligibility and adding compliance obligation and building an enforcement with FCA, the False Claims Act framing. Contractors who have their records access, flowdown management, and certification maintenance dialed in, they're going to gain ground. The single best thing you can do right now is basically to get on a vehicle, keep your certifications clean, and build relationships with primes before solicitation opens. That's the brief for this week. If you found this useful, subscribe. I do this every week. And if you want the full brief, the live session, and the ability to ask me questions directly, come join us inside GovCon Ready in 30 on School. The link is in the description. I'll see you next week.